What's going on, everybody? Algebra here, back again with another episode of our 5-year plan Madden Rebuild series, where we take a team, tear them down, and build them back up within a 5-year window to try to win at minimum one, but as many Super Bowls as possible. Uh, More recently, we've been starting with teams who are a little bit more downtrodden in terms of talent, bare in the cupboard, if you will. So I thought I'd switch it up for this one. Maybe start with a team that has a little bit more potential, a little bit more to work with in terms of pieces, in terms of talent, in terms of structure, in terms of success already in their culture. So we're going to switch it up a little bit. And today's rebuild is going to be focused around the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a bunch of young pieces that are exciting with TJ Watt, with Juju Smith-Schuster. They have this young kind of nucleus with some really aging parts that we're going to talk about in the beginning of this episode. However, we've already kind of gone over the premise, so let's get right into it. So while we're still waiting for Madden 21, and it's going to feel like forever for that to come out, we've got the most recent roster update in here. I don't believe that it has the most recent draft class in there, but let's take a look at this roster and just kind of talk about it before we get started rebuilding this team. Obviously, the face of the franchise for the last decade or so, Big Ben Roethlisberger, is 37 years old, regressing, not the quarterback that he once was, Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's 37. He's most likely going to retire at the end of this year, at least in the simulation. I don't know what his plans are career-wise in terms of the NFL for real, but he is only an 81 overall, where he has fallen from his once prolific status in this game. The accuracy across the board, throw power, everything's in the 80s. This is great, and he would be a viable starter, but he's going to regress. I think he is going to retire. So he's going to be someone we look to move in year one and get value for. That being said, we're going to have to roll with either Mason Rudolph or Duck Hodges. Love Duck Hodges. Neither one of those guys are the guy for us. Mason Rudolph, 63 overall, had an up and down first season with Pittsburgh. His ratings in this game, his accuracy leaves a lot to be desired. He's kind of got the arm, but not necessarily in terms of, he's 63 overall. He's normal development. I personally, of the two, I like Duck Hodges better. Duck Hodges, if you're unfamiliar with Duck Hodges, look up his highlights or his some videotape of him at Samford, where he broke Steve McNair's passing record at the 1AA level, I believe. Delvin Hodges is an incredible talent. I would be surprised if they continued with him. He kind of got thrown into the fire last year after Rudolph went down as well. However, I think that Hodges, with a lot of coaching, has the ability to be a viable starter in this league. He's mobile. He can throw the rock around. He would be someone that I would consider bringing back in this if he had a higher starting point. He's just too low for us to consider. So quarterback is definitely an issue for us in this rebuild. In terms of the rest of the offense, a lot of young, good pieces. James Conner, great story about him coming out of Pitt and how he triumphed over cancer. 24 years old, 81 overall, star development. He'll be around for the duration of this rebuild, most likely, unless we get some super crazy potential running back. But he is not a breakaway runner in any sense of the word. He's 86 speed, 82 agility, 89 acceleration. He's a bruiser. He can catch the ball, which he has shown for the Steelers, but they do have Jalen Samuels as a complimentary back. But he's more of a bruiser, power zone runner than a receiving or elusive back. They have Benny Snell to complement him as well. Benny Snell is very similar running back. He was great in college, but he is also 85 speed, 82 agility, 87 excel. He is another less talented version of James Conner. So we want to look for some dynamic. We want a more dynamic running back to complement either James Conner or Benny Snell. Jalen Samuels is an interesting piece just because of his pass catching ability. And then is this Trey Edmonds? Trey Edmonds out of Maryland, my boy. Uh, so we have some interesting pieces at running back. I like James Conner. He'll probably be our guy for the duration of this rebuild. The wide receiver core is phenomenal. We all know Juju, 22 years old, superstar development. He's not going anywhere. James Washington, another young piece. Actually, I believe the same year as Mason Rudolph, which is where they had somewhat of a rapport in that one season. He's only 23. 90 speed is a little bit to be desired. But he could be a good number two, develop into a number two. The interesting piece here is Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson kind of exploded onto the scene last year in the NFL. He had two really crazy fantasy days, and people started to take notice of him. He's got hidden development. It's probably going to be star, but he has more speed, acceleration. He is their kind of deep threat, if you will, out of the slot, and we'll look to develop him as well. So our wide receiver core, for the most part, is not going to really be touched. Those top three, if they continue to develop on the path that they are expected to, then there won't be much need to tinker with that. In terms of the offensive line, right now we have a pretty solid offensive line. Villanueva is an 82, Foster 81, Pouncey. This is Mike Pouncey, right? Marquise. This is Marquise Pouncey. I get them confused. David DeCastro. So we have these good pieces, but they're all old. DeCastro's 29. Pouncey is in his 30s. Yeah, he's 30. Ramon Foster, 32, 33. And then Villanueva's old as well. He's 30 as well. So the offensive line is going to be something that we have to address going forward. DeCastro is the one piece that we might get the most length out of in terms of his career for this rebuild. He's a 91 overall, which means even when he starts to regress, he still has such a high overall where we can kind of milk that for a year or two. And then at the right tackle, Matt Filer is not the guy out of Bloomsburg, but not the guy for us. So our offensive line is definitely a sticking point where we want to move those pieces strategically and bring in young talent to revamp and kind of rebuild. Vance McDonald, Nick Vanette leave a lot to be desired in the tight end. Vance McDonald, coming over from the 49ers, didn't really have the impact that the Steelers wanted him to have when they made that trade. He's 78 overall, normal development. He's kind of like average at everything, average speed, average catching. His run block, his pass block are mediocre. And then Nick Vanette, kind of the same thing, a little bit of a worse version. Oh, we have a skill point. Cool, he's up to a 73. But the tight end is something that we need to address as well. On the defensive side of the ball also has a good young core. TJ Watt, 24 years old, superstar X Factor for us. He's going to be around for the whole thing, obviously. Him, Devin Bush is going to be hopefully a huge piece of our linebacking core. Minkah Fitzpatrick acquired in the trade with the Dolphins. You have to make that trade if you're the Steelers to get Minkah Fitzpatrick, a young, really promising free safety in the game, 22 years old, superstar development on him. The rest of the secondary is interesting. Joe Hayden, not the premier shutdown corner that he used to be, but still a really serviceable starter. He is in his 30s, so he's going to start to regress, something we have to keep an eye on. Steven Nelson, 26 years old, could be an option for us. We might look to move him around. I think he also plays, we could put him at safety too. If Edmonds doesn't work out for us, Terrell Edmonds, 74 overall, normal development. So we can kind of play around with the secondary a little bit. Sean Davis, I like Sean Davis. He's another Maryland guy. Just hasn't, it's a good real life player, not a great Madden talent. And in fact, I think his contract's going to be one of the first ones to go. We might let him walk. Mike Hilton, star development on him. Great slot corner. I think he has a contract year coming up. We might bring back Mike Hilton. He's got star development. He's only 25. We could keep him until he's 30. Artie Burns and Cameron Sutton. So the secondary, we can move some pieces around. Definitely get better. The defensive line is killer for the Steelers. Cameron Hayward out of Ohio State, 30 years old. He's going to start to regress too, which is tough to see, but he's a 90 overall. So we'll kind of see what we get from him out of 1 year, I think, in terms of contract-wise. Yeah, we've got 2 years left on the deal, so we can kind of see how he plays, how his overall goes after 1 year before we decide to, trade that away. Javon Hargrave is another good piece for us. 26 years old, star development on him. He's a run stuffer. Going to plug up the middle for us. And then Stephon Tuitt, 26 years old, nice left end out of Notre Dame. He's going to rush the passer for us. He's going to complement Cam Hayward really nicely. Even though we have some, edge rushers with TJ Watt and Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree probably someone we'll look to move on from as well. But this is the team. Oh, special teams. We've got Barry and Boswell. Boswell's a nice piece, but all right. So this is the team. We're gonna take a look at contracts. So Mike Hilton is probably the one. Mike Hilton and Javon Hargrave are the people that we're probably gonna look to bring back here. 82 and 81 overall. Ryan Shazier is an interesting piece as well. We might bring Ryan Shazier back as well. We don't have a lot of expiring contracts that we really want to move. There's no one screaming trade me. Maybe Sean Davis, maybe Nick Vannett. I just don't see getting good value for them. Maybe Bud Dupree as well. Bud Dupree's contract, yikes. So there might be some pieces along with some of the older people on our roster that we want to get rid of. So with that being said, let's make a deal. Obviously, the first person I'm going to try to trade is Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know in terms of offers what I'm really going to get for Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know who wants a 37-year-old. The Redskins. Why do the Redskins want Ben Roethlisberger? They have 5 quarterbacks, and they have Dwayne Haskins. Why do they? All right, so we're going to trade Ben Roethlisberger, probably going to retire. Sean Davis, our backup free safety. He's behind Minkah Fitzpatrick, and I believe he's an expiring contract as well. And a 6th-round pick for the Redskins' 1st-round pick. Hopefully, the addition of Ben Roethlisberger isn't so great for the Redskins, and they still have a low draft pick. Again, getting rid of 2 players that probably wouldn't be on the roster next year for a 1st-round pick, and I'm trading up from 6th round to the 1st round. It's a win. Big win. So we're going to trade Bud Dupree, Vince Williams, and our 4th-round draft pick for the Lions' 1st-round draft pick this year and next year. Bud Dupree, $9 million. Probably not going to bring him back. Vince Williams, probably some depth at middle linebacker, but he's expendable with Shazier and with Devin Bush being a developing piece that we want to have. 4th-round pick, we're moving up to the 1st round and snagging a 1st-round pick for a future draft. Again, a trade I really like. We're getting good value for those players. Okay, so we're going to trade Joe Hayden, 30, going to regress, probably into the 70s, for the Vikings' 1st-round pick. It says 24th overall, which still isn't that bad of a trade. We're getting a 1st-round pick for Joe Hayden, but I think the Vikings are going to be worse than 24th. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. They usually do pretty bad in sim, at least the first year or so. So I'm going to bankroll on that and get a 1st-round pick for Joe Hayden. So we're starting at 81 across the board, which honestly is, not the worst start in the world. That's actually probably the best start. Again, with the Steelers, we're going to be looking, because they already have kind of a talent base, we're going to see if we can try to snag more than 1 Super Bowl, but at least 1. That's the goal. All right, we're going to upgrade these players, and then we're going to go to the midway point. 2-3-1, surprisingly down. We still have a chance to make our 7-win goal. Now we got to start talking about people we want to bring back. Ryan Shazier, 84 overall. He's got normal development, but I think that we can get him into star development. So I do want to bring Ryan Shazier back. And he's going to come back. That's fantastic. Mike Hilton, another interesting piece. He could play slot corner for us for a while. He's only 25. Star development on him as well. I think I am going to bring Mike Hilton back as well. Mike Hilton's going to come back. And then Javon Hargrave, star development on him too. I'm going to bring Javon Hargrave back as well. We're just bringing everybody back. God, we got the deal done. So my top 3 guys are coming back. Nick Vanette, everyone else. Yeah, I'm not going to miss any of these guys. I will miss Devlin Hodges. Oh. Maybe we can get him back really cheap in free agency just to have the dock around. But 2, 3, and 1 is surprisingly low. The Browns and the Ravens are definitely the cream of the division. All right, but we're up to 83s across the board. Let's sim to the end, and let's hope we made our goal. We went 4, 10, and 2. Wow, that's surprisingly worse than I thought we would be. Okay, let's jump to the Super Bowl and kind of assess where we went wrong. We got the Panthers and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Let's take a look. Offense, not great. 29th in the NFL. 31st in the NFL in defense. So we were just bad. We're bad. And what that sounds like to me is that either our personnel was not matching the playbook. Oh, we were just awful. We were so bad. All right, I'm actually not even going to spin that. We were just bad. Mason Rudolph, 3,600 yards, 27 and 12. That's not great. James Conner, 4 yards a carry isn't terrible. 7 touchdowns. We'd like to have a little bit more yards, obviously. Jalen Samuels getting some reps. Snell, Receiving-wise, Juju breaks 1,000 yards. Washington, McDonald, Deontay Johnson, all around 700. Everyone kind of touchdown distribution is pretty even. Nick Vanette getting 4 touchdowns. Blocking, I always find blocking interesting. Alejandro Villanueva giving up 21 sacks is not great. 44 sacks. I mean, that's the problem right there. And I thought the offensive line was one of the pieces that we could really string together. I guess not. That's not great at all. That is very scary, actually. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Mark Barron coming in and playing middle linebacker for us, 124 tackles. Devin Bush, 120. Hopefully he won Defensive Rookie of the Year with his efforts. Tackles for loss, 3 guys in double digits. Hayward, Watt, and Hargrave. Sacks, not getting a ton of sacks. TJ Watt only with 6, and 6 being the leader. Not great, not going to cut it. Interceptions, Mark Barron with 2. Watt, Hilton Fitzpatrick, and Cameron Sutton all with 1 apiece. And fumbles, I guess I'm somewhat interested in fumbles. Hayward, Burns, and Edmonds. And any touchdowns? No. Really bad year. Carson Wentz wins MVP. Okay. No one on there from the Steelers. Offensive Player of the Year is Deshaun Watson. Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. Mark Barron finishing in 3rd. What a surprise. Good for Mark Barron. Offensive Rookie is Drew Lock. Wow. I also think this is really weird. Why is Jay Ajayi a rookie? That's just not true. That's wrong. That's incorrect. Deontay Johnson finishes 7th. And then Defensive Rookie of the Year, Devin Bush. That's big. That'll hopefully bring his development trade up to at least superstar, which is what we saw. Best quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Running back, Joe Mixon. I'm not really going to dive through these really deep unless we're up there. Our offensive line, no one should be there. Defensive line, kind of surprised. Defensive line, we didn't have anybody. Linebacker, Mark Barron's in there. TJ Watt. That's good to see. Oh, we won Best Kicker. What a surprise. Good for you, Chris Boswell. We won Best Kicker. Well, Super Bowl Best Kicker, 1A, 1B. Patriots win the Super Bowl as if they needed another one, 21-7. Hopefully that forces Tom Brady to retire in this. One can only wish. We already signed the players that we wanted to. Let's jump. We have negative $13 million. How did that happen? All right, so we will not be signing any free agents. It's clear to see. Let's take a look at who is available. Chris Jones, Kareem Hunt, Kendall Fuller, McCourty. There's no one really No one really jumping out here at me anyways in terms of like what I'm looking for. Yeah, there's not much here for us. So I'm actually not terribly upset that we are not going to get a free agent here. Negative $13 million. I don't know what happened. I guess there's a trade penalty for somebody. That's fine. In fact, let's take a look at our offensive line. Yeah, Foster's a 75. Can I just cut him? Can I just cut him? Penalty of $1.5 million. Let's see if we can trade him. Pouncey went down from 86 to an 84. He's going to regress. Villanueva is regressing. Yeah. So I think that's the play. Even DeCastro, it's everyone's morale is down. Okay, I get it. We didn't have a good year, guys. It's not the end of the world. But our big need is at quarterback. Mason Rudolph can't be the quarterback again for another year. On the defensive side of the ball, Hilton up to superstar. That's good to see. Bush, superstar. We've got great pieces on the defensive side of the ball. In fact, what I'm going to do, since Mark Barron had such a great year, I'm going to move Shazier. Can I move Shazier out? Yeah, he doesn't lose much. 84, and then Barron can fill in. Okay, Tremaine Edmonds up to star development as well. So our secondary taking a big step forward. That's good. That's promising for us. The offensive side of the ball is where we need to work. So what I want to do is actually see if I can trade these pieces away right now and try to get some get some draft picks, because the draft's coming up right now. So let's see if we can get any value for these players right now. Okay, I know this is cheesy. I know that. But he's so easy to trade for. So we're going to send Villanueva and our 5th and 7th round pick, and we're going to get Quentin Nelson. He's young. He's a 95 overall. We're going to trade for him. I would be stupid to not do that and exploit that in this game. I know that's kind of, there are some people who are just really easy to trade for. I'm sorry. So we're bringing in Quentin Nelson. That's a huge piece for our offensive line. He's going to play the opposite guard. And so now that makes Ramon Foster expendable. Let's get rid of Ramon Foster too. So we're going to trade Marquise Pouncey and Ramon Foster for the first round draft pick of the Seattle Seahawks. Pouncey's going to just regress. Ramon Foster has been replaced. We got another pick. Hopefully we'll use that pick on an offensive lineman. We have plenty of first round picks now. We can't have David DeCastro. So yeah, look. So our line needs some help for sure, and we need a quarterback. Those are our big pressing needs: lineman and quarterback as of right now. We had a bad year, so hopefully we have a good draft pick. So let's jump into the draft. And when there's 2 quarterbacks there, which is huge for us, hopefully these guys are what we need. So we pick at 3, 5, 21, 24, 27. So we got 2 in the front, 3 in the back. 2-3 zone. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark off my players, and then we'll talk about them. All right, so I got my board. Let's see who the people in front of me take. There's no one here that's really like jumping off the board. So let's see.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Kyle Hubbard, 78 overall. I was looking at him. He did look kind of like a beast, but that's okay.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
And Lynn Carruthers is gone. All right, so now we pick at 3. So there are some interesting pieces, but let's look. So I kind of can have my pick of the litter in terms of quarterback. Mark Pratt, I like of the 2 quarterbacks that are there. Throw power, throw accuracy. He's got good top 3 skills. He's an early first round grade. He might be somebody that we look to take and just get a quarterback and start to develop. Madison Masters is another early first round grade. He's projected in the 3rd round though, so I can save Madison Masters for a later pick. In fact, I'm going to do that. Same with Sheldon McDonald, Devontae Arsenault, Lynn Pritchett. All these guys have later grades, so I can get them at the later pick. So what I have to decide right now is between these 5 people up here, who I want to take. Mark Pratt, I have to take the quarterback at one of these picks. And I would be risking potentially not getting him if I didn't take him at 3. So that's something I have to consider. Jawan Mincy, mid first round grade. Zach McDonald, mid first round grade, so not great value in the guards. Jimmy Young, early first round grade, 6'5", 319, looks like a absolute beast. Killed it at the combine. He is a projected late first rounder, so I could probably get him at 5. But this guy, Taylor Eccles, I mean, look at the combine. I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that in terms of combine stuff. Then again, I don't know where I would play him because we have Minka. He doesn't scream awareness, pursuit, man coverage. He could maybe play corner. So that's an interesting piece as well. But there's a corner here, Sheldon McDonald, that I'd like later. So I'm not pressed to take Taylor Eccles. I think the pick here is Mark Pratt, and we get our quarterback, and we start to develop him. And we'll see where this goes. 6'5", strong-arm quarterback out of Notre Dame. Let's hope he's not the next Brady Quinn. And Mark Pratt
are now on the clock.
Number 4 in the class. We took him at 3. He's got hidden development, which is good to see. 77 overall. He's a strong arm. He's not going to be fast. He's not going to be a scrambler, but he looks like he could be the next Big Ben. He's Big Ben's successor. I like that. I like the pick for us. Hopefully he develops into something really good. The Dolphins.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Take a center that I wasn't interested in, and that opens the door for us to take. Where's our guy? We're going to take Jimmy Young here. Cornerstone tackle. We need help on the offensive line. Jimmy Young is the guy here. Early first round grade. He's a 76 overall. He's ranked 9. We took him at 5. Normal development is somewhat disappointing. But he's going to start right away. We need help on the offensive line for sure. Jimmy Young is going to play right away and get experience, and hopefully we can push his development trait. With that being said, we're going to go to our next pick at 21.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
We're going to see who's around here. Yeah, so my draft board has been slimmed down to really the guys who I thought would be here. So we have some decisions to make, so I can kind of wait on Arsenault and Masters. Is there anyone that's really still on the board that I, overlooked? Daniel Mack is an interesting piece out of Temple. He could be that complementary back that we were looking for to pair with James Conner. That could be an interesting piece for us. I'm going to take the corner. I think I'm going to get both guys. I'm going to take the corner, Sheldon McDonald, 5'10", 194 man-to-man. Top 3 skills in the B to B plus range. Secondary is still a need for us. He's probably gonna play slot. He'll play outside because we want to put Mike Hilton in the slot. So Sheldon McDonald, welcome to the team.
The Chiefs are now on
Number
the clock.
3 in the class. We got him at 21. Great value, 77 overall. Hidden development on him as well. Sheldon McDonald's going to play right away and hopefully be a stud for us in the secondary.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
We pick again at 24. And if we play this correctly, we could get all our picks here, which would actually work out really nicely. So we're going to take Lynn Pritchett, speed rusher. He could be Cameron Hayward's successor. Because Cameron Hayward is getting old, we're probably going to look to move on from him as well. He's going to start to regress, so we need someone to come in who could play after we move Hayward. So Lynn Pritchett's our guy, speed rusher off the edge.
The Texans are now
76 overall. He's ranked 8th in the class. We took him at 24. Hidden development on him as well. He is going to fill in once Cameron Hayward departs and the C is gone. Lynn Pritchett, welcome to the Steelers. We've got 2 more picks.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
We pick at 27. I think what I'm going to do, because I can get the left tackle. There's a left tackle that I still want, but he's a 3rd round grade. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to trade this pick away for a pick next year.
Hold on now.
So we're going to trade this 1st round pick and a 4th and a 3rd next year for the Raiders' 1st round pick next year. Hopefully they're going to be bad. That'll be a good draft pick, better than 12 for us, which is what we're hoping for. And then we're going to skip to our next user pick, and we're going to take...
now on the clock.
This is our last pick in the draft. And we're going to take the left tackle, Madison Masters. Early first-round grade on him. Good top 3 skills. Normal development on him as well as a disappointment. Number 5 in the class. We got him at 37, but he'll play on the opposite tackle and fill in for us. So we've kind of solidified the edges. We got Quentin Nelson, which was a big get for us in the guard spot. We still need a center, but we addressed what we could here in the draft. That's going to do it for this draft. So let's make some adjustments to our roster before we jump into year 2. Mark Pratt, our rookie quarterback, is going to be thrown right into the fire. He's going to play right away. James Conner, Benny Snell, Jalen Samuels still there. Roosevelt Nick's still there. Our wide receiver core still looks good for now. Juju Smith-Schuster, James Washington, Deontay Johnson, Ryan Switzer, whatever. Vance McDonald is regressing. Tight end, something that we need to look at going forward. Cole Hikutini, those guys aren't the answer. In terms of left tackle, Madison Masters is going to start right away. Quentin Nelson at left guard. We don't have a center. We'll have to assign a center, and then that'll be something that we address in the draft. David DeCastro, aging. Jimmy Young's going to play right tackle for us. On the defensive side of the ball, Lynn Pritchett, he'll play a backup role for the first year. We might get him some edge rushing opportunities. Cam Hayward, we're going to probably trade Cam Hayward. Defensive tackle Javon Hargrave still there. TJ Watt, left outside linebacker. Our linebacking core looks great. Devin Bush, Mark Barron. Right outside linebacker, we move Shazier out there. Cornerback, Mike Hilton, Steven Nelson, Sheldon McDonald, our rookie, will probably play outside because we're going to put Mike Hilton in the... Actually, interesting. We might... Yeah, we're probably going to put him in the slot. He's just going to get bodied by big receivers. Even though Sheldon McDonald's faster, that's good on the outside. Minka, and then Terrell Edmonds. This is our team. The one thing I did want to look at, I wanted to see that strong safety. And I wanted to see the other quarterback. Taylor Eccles, hidden development, 77 overall. He's a superstar. Yeah, okay, that could have been somebody that we could have taken. That would have been an interesting piece. And then this was the other one, right? Joel Bolin. Star. Okay. So I think I made the right pick in terms of quarterback between the two. Hopefully that pans out for us. Was there anyone else that... Kyle Hubbard was definitely somebody I was eyeing and possibly wanting to shift our defense around just for him. But we got some good talent. Yeah, for sure. We for sure got some good talent. All right, let's jump in to year number 2.